to what's been a horrendous season. Having major doubts about Powell at the moment, he can't get these players going at all, which is really worrying. It looks like the club are backing him to try and change it, so I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I said it wasn't the full story, 8-6 at half-time, 32-24 at full-time, because 55 minutes on the clock, Warrington were 24 points to 8 up.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I didn't check the score again until about an hour after the game had finished. So I checked it when Warrington were 24-8 up, and I assumed they were going to just win comfortably.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of how did they finish it off rather than did they finish it off?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing I've written really was arguably the worst of Wyre's losses this season, ?
Yeah, probably. And conversely, I can't quite get my head around Salford.
No.
I really can't. Like, they started like whatever the phrase is, they started well, and then they imploded, and now they're getting some great results again.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about this game, because that's how this game went as well, wasn't it? As well as the season. They Salford, people talk about St Helens carrying the moniker the Entertainers. Well, not necessarily right now. The same way that in the past, arguably, Castleford get called entertaining and stuff like that. Radford brought a different angle to Castle on Friday night, but it was a winning angle. Hull KR have been called the Entertainers in recent years, just cause, because their games have been fun to watch. I think Salford fall into that bracket right now, especially for neutrals. It's fun to watch this team. They've got points in them, but they've got points against them as well, and it makes it fun to watch. I mean, their tries, they're a good attacking side. There was some awesome cut-out passes, like right close to the line. I think there was one by Ackers, I think, for one of the tries in the first half. There was one by Sneed for Ormondroyd's first try in the second half. Some really sharp, at the line cut-out passes. There were some brilliant offloads. One of them was from Watkins for Cross's try by Cross. There was one from Dupree for one of Ormondroyd's try. Amazing offloads, like out of nowhere. Really hard to defend that close to the line, those sorts of offloads. So it's fun to watch them attack with players supporting from everywhere.
Yeah, I really, really like Tim Laffey as a player. Yeah, I rate him highly as well. I like Brody Croft, obviously. I think Mark Sneed can do great things. So, they have got some talented players.
Yeah, they can also get caught out defensively, like the try that Daryl Clark scored out at dummy half. I mean, he showed really good pace to get through the line around the fullback, but it wasn't great defence.
No, exactly. Yeah, so...
and the Ratchford try. How absurd was the Ratchford try in this match? For those who haven't seen it, Ratchford got tackled about 3 yards out by a combination of Croft and Braley, but neither of them paid any attention to the ball, right? So he never actually was held with the ball carrying arm down, and he just kind of crawled through them and reached out and put the ball down. And I mean, they're going to be so annoyed with that one, the Salford defenders, because they're thinking he's been stopped, but both of them were concentrating on things that weren't the ball, and no one came in and wrapped up the ball.
Yeah, basics.
Yeah. And then Wyre made actually a few good long-range breaks. A nice try on the wing by, I think it looked like Fewlis, so I think it was Fewlis, where he kicked it for himself and just sneaked in to score it. Some good stuff from them in that stage, where they were breaking Salford down, but then Salford bounced right back from that. What I like about them at the moment is they don't seem to let conceding points affect their attack. They just come back. It's kind of a bit like the England cricket team, but slightly less good with their results because they've won all their games recently, whereas Salford are losing some still. But it's kind of like that. Like they look at it as you've got to score more than the other team. That's how you win, and that's how they're trying to play at the moment. It feels like.
Yeah. Fair enough. We'll concede, but as long as we can score more, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. They're not like falling apart under the sticks, arguing with each other about defensive lapses and stuff. They're just like, right, let's go and score again.
Yeah.
Or try to, at least.
Yeah, no, I think that they're doing really some good stuff.
Yeah, it's fair to call out. And Warrington are doing some bad stuff.
Yeah.
Rich Owen mentioned the poor start. That Rhys Williams try, where the kick went up and it was completely uncontested by Warrington. And he caught the ball about 15-20 metres out and ran in and scored. No contest at all. It wasn't even like he had to jump and take it above his head. He caught it in the breadbasket. It was almost like there was no defenders on the pitch, let alone it was like the ones they do in the warm-up where they kick it out to the wing and they just take the ball and then throw it back inside. It was that basic. And then obviously they started poorly with that. They finished even more poorly with even worse with the 18-point capitulation. Well done, Salford. Wire were without George Williams, but they didn't play Riley Dean. That confused me. Powell made some comments about he thought he was poor in the Wigan game, so he hasn't given him a chance again yet. And I just thought, so you're giving Stefan Ratchford a chance when he's been poor in games recently? You're giving Peter Matauti a chance when he was poor last week in the game against Hull? Like, what's your angle here? Why are you like blowing up the confidence of a young kid, but keep picking these players who are underperforming elsewhere?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Anyway, well done, Salford. A couple of news stories out of this. Steph Ratchford signed a new 2-year contract extension with Warrington to run to the end of 2024, so that's one of the experienced players that is sticking around under Powell. And they've signed highly rated youngster Matty Nicholson from Wigan on a 3.5-year deal with immediate effect. So Nicholson was chased by some NRL sides, so Warrington must have thrown quite a whack of money at young Nicholson. And because of his age, I think they would have to pay a kind of compensation fee to Wigan as well, which as Matty Pete pointed out in the week, they keep doing rather than promoting their own youngsters, like Dean, for example, who could have played this week. So that's a blow for Wigan, losing Matty Nicholson. He scored 2 tries on his debut against Huddersfield only about 7 or 8 weeks ago. Wigan will be disappointed about losing him, and that's probably what fired up some of the comments from Matty Pete. Actually, it kind of probably hurt losing him to another Super League side, but he's not the first player in the last few years that has come through our academy but ended up on Warrington's books. So we'll see how it plays out for him. He's a talented kid.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through the standings, Sarah?
Yeah, I'd love to. So St Helens stay top, but their lead is reduced 2 points. They've got 28 points. Wigan have 26 points in second. Catalans have 24 in third. And Huddersfield dropped to fourth on 23 points. Castleford have risen to fifth on 18 points, with Hull FC still on 16 points, falling to sixth, and now on negative points difference, meaning only the top 4 have a positive points difference now. Salford are up to seventh on points difference ahead of Hull KR, both having 14 points. Leeds in 9th have 13 points. Wyre fall back to 10th on 12 points. Wakefield stay on 10 points, with bottom place Toulouse now just 4 points adrift on 6 points.
Yeah, that's what happened in France on Saturday and what happened at Wakefield on Sunday has meant that there's more on Magic Weekend now than there was the week before.
Yeah.
With Wigan being able to tie Saints at the top if they win. Wakefield, Toulouse being able to get within 2 points of Wakefield, that'll be massive. It's all exciting. Stat line of the week is Ash Hanley's 5 tries, 204 metres, 4 clean breaks. I mean, someone's getting 5 tries and 200 metres, they're getting stat line of the week. Who was your player of the week, Scoots?
I don't really have one.
I thought you might have overcome it by Tuesday, but it sounds like that shellacking is still sitting in there a little bit, Sarah. I've gone, although actually you're kind of right, it was tricky. There were some good team performances, but maybe not standout individual performances. So I've gone more so than player of the week. I've gone play of the week. So I've gone for Artur Romano. For that player, he's come off the bench. in that game. Got up to speed, set up a try, but then made the play of the round and the tackle on dead towards Regan Grace, and I thought that was fantastic. So I'll give him my Player of the Week award.
Okay.
Predictions: I went 3 out of 6. David went 2 out of 6. David Hunter, that was, who joined me as a guest last week. In the host Superoo, St. David extends his lead with another yellow cap week, so he's running away with that. I'm still second, you're still third, and Alan's still fourth, Sarah, but I don't think we're catching David, to be honest, because he's top of the main league as well. I know, and top of the team, his team are top of the table too. Is too smug. Max Kirk.
It must be easier that, like, if you can always predict your team to win.
Yeah, fair. Max Kirk has got the yellow cap this week, though, so he's in mid-table, but well performed this week. Well done, Max. In the Fantasy League, big news. Neil Ormston has overtaken Alan Bagley at the top. A top weekly score of 687 has seen him overtake the perennial champion, so,
Like, that's a good score, but it's not amazing. Like, it's not the best we've had, is it?
No, but it's been a bit tricky with injuries lately, hasn't it? And a lot of people will have Tommy Makinson in the side, and him going off injured hurt my team, certainly, this week, for example. So, yeah. But well done, Neil, overtaking Al. I mean, something's going well for the Wire fans, at least, because it's the 1 and 2 in the Fantasy League.
Well, there we go then.
Yeah, because it's that fantasy idea of always our year, isn't it? But when you're actually in a fantasy competition, that's okay.
Yep.
Thanks for everyone for their fan views on this week's games. Obviously, Magic Weekend next week, all games televised. We'll expect tons of fan views from you all, either from your seats in the stadium, from your seats at home watching, or maybe from the when you get back nursing your hangovers on the Monday. Okay, that's Super League covered. Lots to have got through there this week. We're now going to move into other results.
So in other results, we'll start with the Women's Super League. It was in Group 1, it was St Helens 62, Huddersfield 0. Wigan 12, Leeds 48. Moving into Group 2, it was Wakefield 8, Castleford 4, Bradford 14, Barrow 18, and Warrington 72, Lee Minor Rangers 0.
Yeah, in the standings, that means Group 1 still has 4 from 4 York at the top. They had the week off this week. Leeds are in second on 6 points, St Helens with 4 points, Wigan with 2, and Huddersfield still to get their first points at the bottom of Group 1. In Group 2, Warrington are 5 from 5 at the top. Featherstone and Barrow both have 8 points. Bradford have 6. Lee Miners and Wakefield both have 2 points, with Wakefield getting their first win in that local derby there on Sunday. And Castleford are bottom without a win.
Yep. Moving into the Championship, where it was round 17, and it finished Featherstone 58, Newcastle 22, Workington 0, Widnes 38, Batley 26, Whitehaven 26, Dewsbury 12, Halifax 38, London Broncos 36, Sheffield 28. And that was another one of these real pendulum swings, wasn't it?
That was even
28-0 to Sheffield, wasn't it, at half time?
Yeah, even more remarkable than the Salford game, really. I think people have been trying to find out what sort of a record that is. I think it's I've not heard of one that's swung around by that many points of a half-time deficit, and keeping Sheffield scoreless in the second half and scoring 36 points themselves. I actually noticed that they both scored 6 tries, and it was goal kicking.
Yeah, I was say that. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and the game was played in Kent, wasn't it? And it was Kent-born Ollie Leyland who kicked all the goals. That was crucial. So,
right.
So yeah, on his home turf, I guess, having a big impact for the Broncos.
Yeah, and it was also Bradford 6, Lee 56, and York 16, Barrow 24.
Yeah, I mean, the York Barrow one's notable. big win for Barrow, catching up some distance on the top three. And Batley, I mean, after beating Featherstone last week, come down to earth with a home draw against Whitehaven. So well done to Whitehaven in that one.